children, how are you all? Let us start our class with a short prayer and ask God to help us. O God, bless us, help us and guide us, keep us safe and sound. Bless all our near and dear ones, bless our thoughts, words and actions. Bless us, God, that we may study well and get good marks in the final exam. Thank you, God. Children, I hope everyone is fine and keeping in good health. Children, do you remember where we had stopped? Now we were doing chapter 4, right? The strange transformation. Here, Mr. Samsa, who is on the bed right now, and what is he thinking now? He is thinking about his boss, right? And here he is in the middle of his dream, where he is thinking about his boss who was looking down upon people. He cannot able to get up from the bed. Why? Because his legs are wriggling. He has already turned into a monstrous bug, right? And he is not able to get up from the bed. Now, while thinking about his boss, what is he thinking? He is thinking about his boss, that he would never work with such a person who would look down upon other people, who would criticize other people. And he also had a listening aid, wherein people had to speak loudly because he couldn't hear. Now we have reached page 32, right? And we will continue from there. Now, as he was thinking about his boss, he was thinking that I have to wake up and I have to catch a 5 o'clock train. For that, he had to wake up around 4 or 4:30 probably. Depends how far the station was. Now, when he is thinking about that and he just turns around and looks at the alarm which was ticking by, which was ticking away by the chest of drawers. Means probably it was on the table which has many drawers. So the clock was ticking by, and when he saw the watch, what did he see? That the time was 6:30. So he says, oh God, the time is 6:30 and my 5 o'clock train has gone. Now the next train would be at 7 o'clock, right? And then to catch that train, he had to go in a utter rush, because he had to get ready, he had to, brush his teeth and shower and all that ready. But now what was happening is he doesn't think that catching that train also would be possible. Why? Because what was his occupation? He was a traveling salesman. So he had to pack all the stuff, right? He had all the different types of material. He had to pack everything and take it along with him. But then what happened? Everything was there on the table. It was not packed. Everything was unpacked. So now he getting ready and packing everything and rushing to the station would not be possible. The train would be leaving the station by the time he would be reaching there. Right. So now he is thinking that he would miss the train. But then he is thinking, how could somebody miss the alarm ringing? That alarm ringing was making the furniture shake. So how could somebody miss the alarm ringing? That is what he was thinking. And he was even kind of doubtful that whether the alarm rang or did not, because he did not hear the alarm ringing. He thought probably the alarm never rang, that he might have not heard the alarm. But then he was thinking that probably the alarm might have rung, right? Because when he saw from the bed, he could now he's thinking that alarm might have failed to ring, right? One saw from the bed that it was properly set for 4 o'clock. So he could see, from the bed. Who is that one? One is Mr. Samsa. He could see from the bed that it was set for 4 o'clock, right? Since the train was 5 o'clock. Then he was thinking is, how could he not hear the ringing of the alarm? But was it possible to sleep through this noise that made the furniture shake? That is what he is wondering. That was it possible that he slept off so hard that he wouldn't hear the alarm, right? Now it was true that he's not slept quietly. Now he's thinking that it was very true that he did not sleep quietly, but he was into more deeper sleep, right? He was more deeper sleep. Why? Because he didn't hear the alarm ringing. That means he was probably in a much deeper sleep. Still, now what would he do? What should he do now? He could not even catch the 7 o'clock train. Right? Now children, question number 1. What time was his train? Right? What time was his train to catch? The first one, what the time they have mentioned. What time was the first train? And what time was the second train? That is the first question. What time was the first train? And what time was the second train? So now he missed both, right? So now he is thinking that now he looks at the table, right? Now he sees all the different material which was lying over there, and now he is thinking that since he has missed the first train and since he's missed the second train, right? Now since he's missed both the train, he would have an unavoidable blow up with the manager. He would have an unavoidable blow up, means he would have a solid clash with the manager, means the manager would be very, very upset with Mr. Samsa. Why? Because he was late to work. As he was thinking all over all this in the greatest haste, without being able to make decision to get out of bed, the alarm was indicating exactly 7:15. Now, as he was thinking about all these things, right, and he was trying to make a decision to get out from the bed, what did he see? He see that the alarm was indicating the time. What was the time? 7:15. There was a cautious knock on the door by the head of the bed. Now, as he was thinking all these things, that he was late and he would have a bad time in the office, as his manager would scold him since he was late. He was extremely late because he is missing 2 trains now, right? So he was thinking like, oh, I'll have a clash with my manager. Manager is going to scold me now very badly, right? So then he suddenly, what happens is, in all these things he realized that the time was, what was the time? 7:15. And then he hears a knock on the door, right? Now, his mother came and she was knocking on the door since she didn't see him. So she was knocking at the door, right? And she called him. Greg. It was his mother. It's 7:15. Don't you want to go? Don't you want to be on your way? So the mother is asking, don't you want to be on your way? It's 7:15. So now Greg was so startled to hear. Greg was startled when he heard his voice answering. It was clearly a misunderstanding his earlier voice, but in it was intermingled as if from below a painful squeaking. Now he says is, he was kind of thinking, he was startled at his voice. He was wondering whether he was already turned into a worm and he was not able to talk. So he was startled when he heard his voice answering. So the mother is at the door, right? She's calling. So he had to give some answer, right? He could not just keep quiet and wait in the bed. He had to answer her. So it was clearly and unmistakably his earlier voice. So now when he's talking, he realized that it was his own voice, right? It was his own voice which was answering, and it was his real voice, right? And then he's saying is, but in it was intermingled as if from below a squeaking pain. Now he's saying like he answered and he was quite surprised that it was his own voice. But then he says is he felt that there was a squeaky pain which he felt in his voice. Granner wanted to answer in detail and explain everything, but in these circumstances he confined himself to saying, actually, yes, thank you, mother, I am getting up right away. So now he wanted to tell his mother, that what a dreadful thing is going on with him, right? That he's already turned into a worm and his legs are wriggling and he's not able to get up, and right, that was the difficulty what he was facing, which we saw. But then he felt, that at the moment he should just confine his answer, like just give a plain answer which would not depict his feelings. So what he says, he tells his mother, yes, thank you, mother, I am getting up right now. Because if he says anything else, the mother would come rushing inside, right? And he was scared that she would see him in this condition. Children, my second question for the video is, when he was thinking about all this haste, he was thinking about everything, right? Since he had missed his train, and then again he was thinking about all these things, he heard a knock on the door, right? So who knocked the door? My second question is, who knocked the door? Okay, children, see you in the next video.